Welcome to WagerTalk TV. I'm Kelly Stewart. This video is sponsored by uwager.eu. Get a 50% sign-up bonus when using promo code WT50 when signing up. This offer is exclusive to WagerTalk. All right, let's head over to the Pac-12. Saturday afternoon, Washington at Washington State, the Apple Cup in football anyway. Washington looks like a 9-point favorite in this one. Kind of like it. We were talking a little bit off air, and you guys disagree with a little bit. So let's start with you, Marco, and see your thoughts on this matchup.
Yeah, I have the line at 8. Ralph has it at 10, and we put it right in the middle at 9. So there we go. I look at this one, and Ralph, I look at Washington from last week losing their first game in the Pac-12 conference play. Actually, I think that's a good thing for this team. When you're undefeated and you're trying to have that magical season, have the undefeated conference record, I think it ends up taking a toll on you as you move into the conference tournament then and then into the big dance, because you wanted that conference undefeated season and everything. And coaches will say, oh, this doesn't matter and everything. But when the players are in that position and you're trying to do it, you're spending energy to get there and do that. Get it done, get the loss, get it out of your way. Now this team can refocus. I was on Arizona State Saturday for a big play. I had it as a 5% play. It was, for me, the ultimate situational play. Look at what Washington was coming off of. They did 3 straight, well, they were undefeated, but look at the last 3 games. They had beat USC, UCLA, and then they went into Arizona and won. Now, granted, all of those teams are down this year in the Pac-12, but that's the who's who list of the Pac-12. They rolled through those undefeated, and then they're playing an Arizona State team that had their worst game of the season, well, a 15.5-point favorite, lose outright by 23. They were clearly looking ahead. It was the spot. Washington fat and sassy, love my phrase. I was on Arizona State. They got the job done. But here, I think Washington gets the job done. They get refocused. Washington State is a team that can be pesky at times, but overall, they don't have the talent to go with this team.
Well, hell, Washington went to Arizona, split those games. Washington State went to Arizona this weekend and swept them.
Well, you know what? That's why hopefully it'll bring the line a little bit shaded down that I can get a number that I can lay Washington.
You know, I agree. You know, the spot, they were due for a bad game. You know, be it the situation, be it Arizona State, it didn't really matter. But, you know, how bad of the game, again, another outlier situation. They shot 37% in that loss to Arizona State. And in 6 of their previous 8 games, they had top 51%. They allowed 61.7% against Arizona State. Their worst performance, their second worst performance the entire season, 46.9%. You go through a season and you don't let anyone top 47% but one team. You are playing defense. Remember, Washington is Mike Hopkins, their head coach, was a 20-year Syracuse assistant. He runs the exact same zone as Syracuse to 2-3. What happens with Syracuse? Well, kids need to learn to play that zone. Washington had all 5 starters back this year. This was Hopkins' second season. What happens when you watch Syracuse with a semi-experienced team? They get better as the season progresses. You get to March, Syracuse is always in that March run because they play that zone that shuts teams down. Robert Franks, Washington State lives and dies with Robert Franks scoring. And although when I said Washington's second worst performance was 46.9%, and that was Washington State in game 1, that was also a game Washington had a huge lead on them and still won by, I think, 16 or 17. So you don't play the same type of defense when you're up by 20 points in a game and people get some multiple scoring. So to me, Washington gets it done. You know, my number's 10. So if I could get a -8 or less where you guys think the number might be, I will be on them because, again, you have to remember this is rivalry week in the Pac-12, so there's no midweek games. And what does that help? Well, that helps a defense that doesn't need timing and continuity. It hurts the offensive team where Washington State has Franks. And I think what Franks did to Washington the first game, they shut him down the second and put some extra effort into it.
One last thing, if we talk about defense, Washington State, one of the worst. Prior to this weekend sweep, their previous 10 games, their opponents, 9 of the 10 opponents shot 52% or better against that team, and against the team as efficient as Washington. That's going to spell disaster.
All right, awesome stuff here. This video was sponsored by WagerTalk.eu. Get a 50% sign-up bonus when using promo code WT50 when signing up. This offer is exclusive to WagerTalk.